Long, long ago, there lived a girl who had a voice as beautiful as a magic songbird, and they called her Tintinyane. She lived with her father and 3 brothers at the foot of a mountain. Every morning she woke them with her sweet singing. Her joyful song followed the men as they left to hunt or fish, and her voice soared like a rising lark as she worked at her daily tasks. As darkness fell, she greeted the stars with trills as sweet as the little brown warblers. One day, as her singing rose in the evening air, and Gorongorui, the monster of the deep forest, heard her. Greedily he crept closer to listen. I shall catch her and keep her for my own, he thought. Then I shall be able to listen to her night and day. In the dead of night, while her father and brothers slept, he came to their hut. As stealthily as a jackal taking his prey, Gorongorui took the sleeping Tintinyane from her mat and carried her away into the depths of the forest. Deep, deep among the trees, where the sun never shines and where the light of moon and stars never comes. The next morning, Tintinyane awoke and stared in terror at the hideous creature. "Sing to me," growled Gorongorui. Tintinyane sang. She sang and sang, and whenever she stopped singing, Gorongorui ordered her to sing again. She sang her lovely song until at last she fell, faint with weariness, to the ground. When she came to herself again, she quickly took her voice out of her throat and hid it in a little nutshell that she hung in a thong round her neck. Gorongorui came back and cried, "Sing!" But the girl squealed like a plover. "Sing!" roared Ngorongoro again. But Tintinyane quacked like a duck. "Sing!" howled Ngorongoro for a third time. But Tintinyane only cried the sad cry of a gull. Though Ngorongoro roared in anger, Tintinyane closed her lips and would not open them again. The monster's anger shook the trees as if a storm wind blew. His breath dried the grasses as if the winter frost had passed over them. All the creatures of the bush, the plain, and the river crept away to hide, till not an ear or whisker could be seen. And still Tintinyane refused to open her mouth and sing. And far away in the hut at the foot of the mountain, Tintinyane's father and brothers waited for her. At evening, a great brown owl flew to them, with the news that Tintinyane, she with the voice of the magic bird, was held prisoner by Ngorongoro in the forest. Then the father sent out his eldest son to fetch her back. The eldest son was so strong that with his bare hands he could turn aside the horn of a charging rhinoceros. He took no weapons with him as he set out across the plains to find his sister. He ran till he came to a deep, dark river. He plunged in and swam with mighty strokes, but he was only halfway across when the head of a huge crocodile rose and opened its mouth to crush him. As swiftly as a mamba strikes, the young man seized the crocodile's tail and thrust it into the gaping jaws. He turned to swim on over the river, but from all sides the wicked yellow eyes of 100 more crocodiles came gliding towards him. The strong young man could fight one crocodile, but he was no match for 100. Sadly, he turned and swam ashore. He returned to his father's hut without Tintinyane. The next day, the father sent forth his second son. He was not as strong as his elder brother, but he was gifted with the fleetness of a springbuck, and not even the swift-leaping leopard could catch one who ran as an arrow from a bow. He took no weapons, for he trusted the swiftness of his feet to take him to Tintinyane. When he came to the river, he sprang nimbly over the backs of the crocodiles and ran on. But he hadn't gone far when he heard the howling of hyenas behind him. He turned this way and that with the speed of a hunted buck, but so great was the horde on his trail that he knew he could not escape them. He turned and ran home to his father without Tintinyane. As the third day dawned, the father sent out his youngest son to wrest Tintinyane from the clutches of Ngorongorui. Now the youngest son was not as strong as his eldest brother, nor as swift as the second, but he was as beautiful as the sunrise. Wherever he went, the eyes of all followed him, and wondered at his shining skin and glowing eyes. Just like his brothers, he took no weapons, for he trusted to his beauty to cleave him a path through the plains and forest to his sister Tintinyane. He ran till he came to the river full of crocodiles. He stood on the bank and looked over the dark water. When the crocodiles saw his shining beauty, they left the river to lie on the banks and bask as if in the light of the sun. The boy told them he wished to cross the river, and the biggest crocodile of all offered to carry him across on his back. On the far bank, the boy bade him goodbye, and away he ran towards the forest where Tintinyane was hidden. It wasn't long before the hyenas came. But when the boy turned and looked at them with his glowing black eyes, they became as tame as dogs and fawned at his feet. So the beautiful boy ran on deep into the bushland until he came to the rhinoceros. Then he realized that his beauty would be as nothing to the short-sighted rhinoceros. Sadly, he turned and ran from them. As he came home, his father saw that even his third son could not bring back his beloved Tintinyane. Deep in the heart of the forest, Tintinyane sat, and no matter how Ngorongorui raged, how he roared or howled, he could not make her sing. Tintinyane, voice of the singing bird, was as silent as a stream run dry. And Gorongorui gave her no peace. When she rose at dawn, he growled, "Where is your voice of the magic songbird, Tintinyane?" All through the day he plagued her with, "Where have you hidden your voice, Tintinyane?" And at nightfall he howled, "Tell me, Tintinyane!" At last, Tintinyane knew that she must save herself from the monster. A clever plan came to her, and she said, "On the far side of the forest stands a great tree. Under the tree lies a stone, and under the stone is a pool of water. Deep, deep under the water, in the very middle of the earth, is a ball of fire. It is there, in the fireball, that I have hidden my voice." Then Gorongorui rushed off through the forest to find the great tree. No sooner had he gone than the brave Tintinyane took her beautiful voice out of the nutshell and began to sing. She sang so joyously that fresh leaves sprouted on old trees. So enchanting was her song that white butterflies whirled from the treetops like snowflakes. So sweet was her voice that the tails of scorpions dripped honey. She sang as she walked home. The sharp-horned rhinoceros, tamed by her singing, stood as gently as cattle as she passed. The hunting hyenas frisked like dogs beside her. She walked and walked until she stood on the banks of the deep, dark river. At the sound of her song, the crocodiles swam ashore and lay as tame as lizards under the rocks. Tintinyane waded through the river, and the muddy waters became as clear as a mountain stream as she passed. Then her father and her brothers heard her as she came up from the river singing. With tears of joy they ran to welcome her. They embraced her, and then together They took their things and climbed to the highest krantz. There they stood and gazed over the plains, the river, and the forest to see if Ngorongorui was coming in pursuit of Tintinyane. But Ngorongorui never came, for he was busy digging up the roots of the great tree. He found the stone under the roots and hurled it high into the air. Down and down and down he dug, till he found the deep waters. And still he digs ever deeper and deeper into the dark earth, searching for the voice of Tintinyane. But the lovely singing of the girl rises free as a lark into the sky. It echoes sweetly in the kloof and dances, dances, dances in the wind over the mountain.